What's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and I gotta admit, we love making fun of NFT bros on this channel, right? And I mean, just in general, making fun of people who get into NFTs is something that, is pretty common to do because of the fact that there's no real utility in NFTs, right? You're basically buying a URL to an image that can be deleted whenever the company wants to or whatever else, and it was something that was never really too much of a good thing. I mean, you always hear about all these games and stuff trying to put NFTs in their game or whatever else, and none of those projects ever either made it really popular or ever really made it too well into the mainstream media because they either got canceled, scrapped, or whatever else, or they just ended up dying out really quickly. And I mean, nowadays, when you look at an NFT, they're worth like 99% less of what they actually were worth before. Some NFTs here and there, maybe they're still worth money, but that is assuming that people are actually going to buy your NFT and use it for whatever reason, right? It's something that, you'll go to a concert or whatever else, and maybe it's like, hey, a free digital NFT memorabilia or whatever else, and it's like, cool, you have an NFT, I guess, that you didn't pay for, but it's not something that you should be going out there and trying to pay, because a lot of people think of NFTs as a way to get profit or whatever else, and that is something that just isn't going to really happen for 99.99% of people who ever even get into NFTs, and it's just kind of a dumb thing. But one thing that is very dumb is something that's happened very, very recently regarding NFTs, and specifically a in-person little concert that went down for the NFT Bored Ape Yacht Club. If anyone doesn't remember what Bored Ape Yacht Club is, we'll talk about it more in a second. But listen, I understand if you want to spend your money on whatever you want, right? You can go ahead and be like me and spend some money on Genshin Impact to do some rolls or whatever else, some wishes and all that type of stuff. That's completely your prerogative. However, I feel like even gacha games are better investment than NFTs because, I mean, for example, maybe there's a community aspect, as you can see by this image right here, where you can meet other people, get little stickers, coins, all this type of stuff. But at the same time, that is assuming that you're actually going to buy an NFT and go to actual in-person NFT events like this. And yes, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, like we mentioned, is the OG NFT images that everyone would meme on, screenshot all the type of stuff over and over again. And it's kind of coming back to bite them once again. I mean, they always get in controversy, it seems, right? From little weird symbolism or whatever in their logos and all that type of stuff to now we're going to be talking about in today's video, there's always something going on with the Ape Yacht Club NFTs. And most recently, they had to put this tweet out on Twitter right here. Apes, we're aware of the eye-related issues that affected some of the attendees of Ape Fest and have proactively reached out to individuals since yesterday to try and find the potential root causes. Based on our estimates, we believe that much less than 1% of those attending and working the event had these symptoms. While nearly everyone has indicated their symptoms have improved, we encourage anyone who feels them to seek medical attention just in case. Now, I understand that, that description alone is kind of like, okay, so there was eye-related injuries. What exactly were the injuries? Well, as you can see right here by this quote retweet by Ray, in case anyone hasn't seen what's happening yet, a bunch of NFT guys went to an NFT convention and were blasted by prolonged UV light exposure and went blind. Now, they do mention that it is just went blind here, however, it's more of like a temporarily blindness, and it isn't just related to the eyes, right? Because of this exposure to UV lights, it's similar to exposure to the sun, where people are going to have skin-related energy such as a sunburn from UV lights, temporarily blindness, eye pain, and a lot more. And as we go through all the other images and stuff, you can kind of see that more here, because if we go over here, for example, you can see this person went ahead and had 30 hours since they woke up or whatever, and they had severe eye pain and all that type of stuff, and they actually went to a doctor or whatever, because this is in Hong Kong, and their vision has been tested so close to perfect with no serious damage to their eye, luckily, but they got diagnosed with photokeratitis, or however they explain it, over both eyes, with it being accident related, them needing to use eye drops. But it's very interesting to see how all this type of stuff happens, where people are going to an NFT convention or whatever else in real life and having to spend around 3,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is around $380, for all the medical costs that are on top of just going to the normal event because of all the eye pain and everything else. I mean, even another NFT person right here, they mentioned that anyone else's eye burning from last night woke up at 3 a.m. with extreme pain and ended up in the ER. Saw a few reports here and there, but I want to confirm if it was a common thread, and it was something that is just, super interesting point where I'm like, I want to make fun of the people who buy NFTs, so I'm like, you buy an NFT, you're already blind or whatever else, but at the same time, I don't think I can make fun of them in this situation, because sure, I might not agree with them buying NFTs, but they didn't buy access to the Bored Ape Yacht Club Ape Fest or whatever else, expecting to go blind. They went there to expect a little concert, hang out with other people like NFTs, So I can't blame them at all. I don't think it's their fault. I think it's entirely Bored Ape Yacht Club's, little Ape Fest area's fault for their whole entire, system of setting up everything, how the lights were and everything else. And I mean, it isn't just, like a small little thing, right? I mean, if we go over here and look at the images, actually, that's not one of the images, but if we look at the images here, you can see that it has a decent amount of people in the crowd, but all these little lights and stuff, so, the light up top, the little logo, the signs, all this type of stuff, and, even the washroom sign over there were all related to UV lights, and they all had UV lights in them, meaning that if you were looking there, if you were staying in this area for a long, long time, you could be exposed to those hurtful lights and potentially even have eye damage. And I mean, even if we go over here and look at this image, right, you can see another image of how all the lights are. I mean, you even have like on the actual pillars to the left and right, all that type of stuff. And something I gotta mention here, I gotta kind of make fun of Bored Ape Yacht Club a little bit. Even though this has a lot of people later in the night just kind of standing there, at the same time, I feel like a Fortnite event has more people than this, right? And I mean, that's Fortnite. And this is, some NFT stuff. It looks pretty small in terms of how many people are there. I mean, I will admit there are still a decent amount of people there, but still think about it, right? Depending on how many of these people are here, if less than 1% have the whole entire eye strain issue, from the UV lights and even skin burns, sun burns, all that type of stuff. How many people was it? Was it anyone in the back row? Was it more of the people that were in the front row? What is the actual number? I know it's going to be impossible to actually obtain, but it is one of those questions I would have to have, right? And I mean, just seeing how even like for the washroom, you have to have a giant like neon UV light sign. It just doesn't make sense to me. But if we even go over here, we can see some more conversations going on, which I can't really verify myself, but it mentions that, bro, just say you put UV lights on the walls. We all know you did it. To which Dave replied saying the ones in the bathroom are UV sanitation lights. You can't get anywhere near those, meaning that the lights that were actually in the bathroom when you needed to use the bathroom, whatever, or when you ever needed to pee, poop, whatever else, you had UV sanitation lights just right there. I mean, if you're pooping, you're not going to be able to dodge a UV sanitation light. It's just going to be there. You're going to see the light, and it's going to affect you, because what are you supposed to do? Poop faster? You're just trying to become Sonic, time travel or something? That's not going to do anything. That's not physically possible. Yet it's a thing that apparently was happening there. Now, of course, I can't verify if this is true or false yet, but I do kind of believe that it is true, because I mean, if we pay attention to the fact that, this is a common thing, there was, a lot of UV light exposure. I mean, if you look over here once the images once again, and you see all the little UV light areas and everything else, it definitely adds up. And I mean, even one of the images that I have not been able to find, it showcases some toilets, which I assume were more of like prop toilets and not actually the washroom, but the entire floor and wall was like bright green, and I wouldn't be surprised if the entire floor and wall of the little like toilet prop area was entirely UV light, except for the toilets themselves, of course. But of course, that is definitely an interesting situation, and as much as I want to hate, NFT bros or whatever in this moment, I can only hate the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So until next time, I'll catch you champs and champettes a little bit later. Peace out.